This episode is sponsored by the Slang Self Doubt Prayer Journal. Over the past 4 years, I have had the opportunity to help over 30 women identify, accept, and take action in the parts of their lives where they feel stuck. My heart's desire is to do that with every woman I come in contact with, but the truth is that's not realistic. So instead, I created a prayer journal that goes through that same journey. The Slang Self Doubt Prayer Journal is designed for you to dig deep and answer questions that will pull out where you are stuck on your journey. The Slang Self Doubt Prayer Journal consists of 6 sections of journal prompts and areas for reflections for when you want to dig a little deeper and just take your thoughts to another level. Whether it takes you 6 weeks or 6 months to complete, I promise you will not regret it. Head on over to my website at www.feliciawallace.com and select the books tab to make your purchase. If you are ready to find your fears and slay them, go to www.feliciawallace.com, select books, and get your copy today. You're listening to the Slaying Self-Doubt podcast with Coach Felicia, where we empower Black women to overcome their doubts, fears, and insecurities in order to give birth to their God-given purpose. Join me and sometimes some of my friends on our journey as we remind you that you are not alone. I'm Felicia Wallace, and together we will find our fears and slay them. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Slaying Self-Doubt podcast. It's your girl, Coach Felicia. Welcome to all the new and continued listeners. No matter how you found me, whether it was by way of a guest episode, solo episode, or you found me on the Googles, or you heard me on someone else's episode, you seen me on LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you found me out, I'm just glad that you are here and you have decided to be on this journey with us. If you have not subscribed to the newsletter, please make sure you do that, because remember, you guys get you get exclusive access and you get first dibs on a lot of information that is coming out, and we have some great information and things happening and things that are going to be happening in the future. So you want to make sure that you're connected. You don't want to wait, because we already know IG algorithm is all over the place and you may not even see whatever is going on if you don't have me under your, I don't even what they call it, the favorites, the following. I don't know. It's way too much information. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and you keep doing what you're doing. But in order for you to stay connected out and get all of this information, you gotta really you gotta get on the newsletter so you don't have to worry about, me not being in your feed. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you go to the website, do that today. The wins, guys, we hit 42,000 downloads this week. And, I'm just forever grateful. I like there's gonna be a day when we hit $50,000 downloads. I will have a conversation with you guys about why it is so important, because I was really thinking today about it and just like how this all started, what I envisioned it to be, what I thought was going to happen, and then how God just interceded and did what he does best, right? Exceeds our expectations. So when we hit that 50,000, we will take it back and we will have a conversation. Okay. So also, you guys, join the Slaying Self-Doubt Facebook community. That is where we'll be able to have a little bit more personal conversations. I want to be able to go into the community and talk to you all, have maybe they do like lives and stuff like that. I'm still figuring this out, right? Because there's some stuff, if some stuff I'm comfortable with, other stuff I'm not, but we going to do it because I want to make sure that we just remain connected and we are still, operating in the space of purpose and what it is that we're supposed to be doing. So I need y'all to get into the Facebook group. You can click the link in the bio, in the show notes. Child, I swear, if y'all know I'll be all over the place. Again, we still have Slaying Self-Doubt merch. It is still hoodie season in the DMV. It's a Tuesday and it's rainy and 60 degrees. So I have a hoodie on. You guys could have a hoodie on. So make sure y'all go get that. The link is also in the show notes. And then journals are still on sale through Amazon. Click the link in the show notes. Yeah, there you go. So today we are talking about, so one of the things I recognize is I definitely follow, where God leads me. And this is a little bit of part of some of the story of how, when we started. But in the beginning, I used to go through this space where I would be like, what am I going to talk about this week? Right. Like some stuff was planned, but a lot of stuff was just off what was happening in my life. And it was real. It was honest. It was not to say that none of the other, but it was real time. Let me just say that it was real time of things that I was going through. And, when you're doing stuff and you're in this podcast world or creating content, any kind of content creation, it has to be order and decency, right? And as I started to learn more about what podcasting was, I had to get like strategic about, okay, you need to plan out these conversations and you need to figure out what you're going to talk about, and you need to have this, that, and the third. And I can do that very well. But then there's times where I just gotta talk about what's on my heart, because I know that is going to reach somebody. And it also, I told you in the beginning, like a lot of this is therapy for me. It gets a lot of what I'm feeling out. It may, some of my thoughts, some of my emotions, but I also know that in these times where I'm speaking genuinely from a real time space, that there are other people who are going through this at this exact time. And so if you saw the title, we are talking about transitions. And I think that, we have a tendency to minimize so many different things, guys. Like we minimize amazing opportunities. We minimize the celebrations that we should have. We minimize hardships. We minimize so much. And I believe that a lot of it has to do with the fact that maybe really we don't know whether or not people are going to judge us, right? We don't know whether or not, am I right in the feelings that I have? We don't, well, I'm not going to, well, we, because when I can say we, I'm including myself. Some of it also is that thinking that feeling or that thing that we're going through, like we want to talk about it when it's over, right? And y'all know a part of slaying self-doubt was a lot of my delay was like, Lord, I want to talk about slaying self-doubt after I slayed it, not while I'm in it. That didn't make no sense to me. But he shows me every single day that like slaying self-doubt is an action. You are doing it. You're actively doing it. And so having these conversations, talking about what you're going through, talking about real life stuff, it allows people to see what they need to be doing in these seasons, right? And so right now I am in this transition of my oldest son is going to high school. And I know it probably sounds like, oh, she sounds disappointed. It really is not that. Honestly, I am beyond proud. Like I am, oh, I'm so proud of him. He has just done amazing. Both of my kids, actually, they are amazing students. They do very well in school. And I think that these last 2 years, like as much as things slowed down, it also sped up a little bit. And I don't think I realized we were so close to this phase of his life, right? And we were so close to this season. And I think that when you are raising kids, it's funny when they're babies and they depend on you for everything, and you can't go to the shower and you can't go to the bathroom and you can't eat and you can't do anything. We have a tendency to be like, Lord, I can't wait till you can make your own food. I can't wait until you are da 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 da. I can't wait until you do this. We're like rushing things along, and people are like, "Oh, you enjoy these times, right?" And it's like, yeah, I'm enjoying it, but also I want to, hurry it up. I want to get to the part where it's other stuff happening. I want to get to the part where, I don't feel like I'm so what do you call it, like they're so dependent on me that I can't move like I want to. And then they get to the next phase where they can shower themselves and they can make cereal without really making a mess, and then you're like, oh, okay, look at you're a big boy, you a big girl, look at you growing up, you out here making your own breakfast, you tying your shoe, dressing yourself. Then they get to the next phase, and then it's like they don't need you to wake up anymore. They get up on their own, they already downstairs, they doing. And I'm at this phase where these mamas could probably cook every meal, right? Like I don't know the recipes and how much they could cook. That's different, but they can eat 3 times three times a day if they needed to, right? They have all the tools to be able to do that, to get themselves placed. So right now, I'm just more so of like an Uber and a chef. Like, so Uber chef, that's the role I'm playing right now. And that's, that's cool too. But I think that I know that I'm in this space of watching him going into high school and understanding that on the other side of this is adulthood, right? And so when you're 5 and 15 is high school, it seems so far away, right? Because it's like, oh, you got 10 years, like, it's fine. But when you're 15 and you're like, no, for real, in 4 years, like 4 years from today, 4 years from this moment, you will be graduating high school. It does something to me. I mean, it is in my spirit. There is the underbelly of everything that is happening in this present time. It's just this feeling of like, oh, everything. There's literally no words for it. I don't have any words for how I am feeling about it, because um it's just a lot. It's a lot. Like, there's so many emotions, highs, lows, all these different things. And, I think that when we're in these spaces, we have to be even more diligent about being present, right? And so as you are working in whatever field you're working in, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether you're doing your 9 to 5, whether you are with, contracted, whatever the case may be, like if you were in a space where transition is happening, and it could be kids, it could be a relationship, it could be your job is transitioning, like all types of things. I think about all the transitions I've had over my life, and how sometimes some of the transitions, like, I don't even remember. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, I remember I left and then I was there, but I don't know what happened. I felt like I was in the Matrix, right? Whereas now I'm like, dang, I can't really be in the Matrix, because what I know for sure is that this moment won't happen again. Like, we're at a place right now where, we got like 10 days left of school, right? And the excitement that comes with that. And, the transition is not, when we talk about transitions, right, and the difficulty of how hard they are, it's not always about going forward, right? It's not always about what's ahead. A lot of it is like you anticipating what is happening, right? So in my example, like, we're anticipating high school, new friends, new teachers, new place, new, further to drive, you know what I'm saying? Like, new experiences, all these different new work, like, it's going to be different, right? Like, this ain't what you used to. Relationships, not only for him, but for me, like, I have to meet new parents, new moms, new dads. Like, he has been at a school that he's been at for 12 years. And the relationships that I built there, the people that I have, the kids I've watched grow up, the kids that I can be like, bro, I remember when you was 2, right? Like, and now y'all are 14 and 15 years old looking at me like down at me because all y'all Bama's taller. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, these are growing young men and growing young ladies. Like, I remember when y'all was babies. And so there's some sadness in walking away from what is behind you and allowing yourself to grieve that in some sort of way, right? Like, I recognize that, when he walks away from this, like, once he's finished with this chapter of his life, so are we, right? My youngest son goes to a different school. And so, we won't be driving that way anymore, right? It won't be a like, oh, let me, it's certain things like, oh, let me hit up the teacher about this. Let me ask about that. Like, we've built relationships and like we're family. And then you get to a place where you have to be like, I gotta go. And the question is, what do you do in those moments where you are struggling with what you have to say goodbye to and what you have to say hello to? And I think I saw a post the other day that was basically, I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember exactly, but it was like basically, how crazy is it that we watched our parents grow up, right? Like, And, you know, it would basically extend some grace to them and extend some grace to yourself. That was kind of how it went. And so when I thought about that, I was like, you know what? That's real, because I'm not the same person I was at 27. You know what I mean? Like, I am much older, much wiser, in a different place, in a different mindset, mind frame, all of those things. And I recognize now that how I am displaying transition and displaying what it's going to look like could set the groundwork or the framework or the foundation for how they experience transition, right? And, you know, what do I really want to do? Do I want to bottle all of this up and make it seem like, you know, okay, we just make it like it's another day? Or do we want to experience it, like have all the feels? And, you know, at first it was kind of like, you know, because he's a teenager, like, oh, yeah, save all your crying till graduation. I was like, bro, do you know how messed I would be if I saved all these tears to graduation? Like, I wouldn't, you wouldn't, I just, there's no way. It just, I would just be, because then you feel like you're able to release. And so one of the things that as I get closer to the day, like I can feel it every time I think about it. Whenever I'm talking about, like, I can feel the emotion like rising up in me, and then I kind of like push it down. And I think that the truth of the matter is that it's not healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay to be whatever you are today. You know what I mean? Like, so one of the things, you know, is that my son is valedictorian of his class, and I am just beyond proud and excited about that. So he was reading his valedictorian speech, and I started crying, and he was like, what is happening? And I'm just like, you don't understand the importance of this moment, right? You don't understand how big of a moment this is, because there's only one valedictorian, right? There is not two. There is not, like, it just doesn't happen. You get this one opportunity for this one amazing thing to happen, and it does, and it's you. Like, let's rejoice in that, right? Like, of course, when the announcement came, you know, of course we celebrated it, but it, you know, it's also that thing of like being proud of that moment, but also for me, just being like, we made it. Like, the decision to, when your kids are small, to put your kids in certain schools and put your kids around certain people and in certain environments, and the, you know, the sacrifices we make as parents, and the decisions that, you know, we make for, you know, whether it's to inspire, well, I'm gonna say in spite or despite our upbringing. Like, if we, like, I definitely ain't gonna be like my parents, you know what I'm saying, I'm going the opposite way. Or if it's more of a, you know, and, you know, everything was cool, you know what I'm saying, like, I think that I might go in this direction, just do it a little bit differently. Like, we're figuring the things out as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talked about this before during the pandemic. Like, well, ain't nobody ever been no parent in no pandemic. We all figuring it out. How we know what's the right thing to do? I don't know. You know, I knew what was comfortable for me, and what was comfortable for me in the midst of it was, I do not care about electives. I only want these core subjects. So don't do it. You know what I'm saying? And you're not about to be stressed out because of art. Like, what I care for about art in a global pandemic? Nothing. I don't, you know. And but then there may have been another parent who was like, you know, make sure you do all your work. That was not like, you have to, I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. I did what was best for me and what made me feel comfortable and what made my kids feel comfortable. And we moved on, right? And so I think that when even, you know, initially this conversation was supposed to be about how self-doubt shows up in your parenting, which is still you know, a part of the conversation, because in the decisions that you make in parenting, sometimes your self-doubt can come up. And, you know, even for myself, like, I think that you know, worry, right? Like, of making the right decision, and, you know, debating if, you know, it was all worth it, and all of these different things. And then when you get to this place where, like, I remember making the decision to send him to the school that he went to, and where my life was at that moment, and what, you know, I was a single mom, and I was really like, you know, so today, like, this is what we're doing, you know, either get with it or don't. Like, that's just this kind of the direction we're going in. And to be here, you know, 12 years later, and be like, no, for real, like, we did this. Like, it just in spite of all the things that transpired over these 12 years in my own personal life, and growing my family, getting married, transitions at work, transitions into entrepreneurship, health situations, like all types of different things that have happened in these 12 years. Like, to get to this place is not only a proud moment for him, but a proud moment for me as well. And I think I had to allow myself to be able to feel what it is that I need to feel, and be able to say that, like, girl, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you that you stuck through it. I'm proud of you that, you made this decision and you stuck with it, even if it didn't make sense at sometimes, right? Um, I think it's also okay to be sad about not having those same relationships. Like, yeah, okay, I can go back to the school and talk to the people and, see them. And of course, we'll do all of those things. We won't be strangers because they're family. But I think also just being in the situation of like that comfortability, that um that trust that I built in over 12 years, I now have to. That was a scary decision. Like, where do you go? Where do we go next? Where I feel the same feeling on the inside that I know that this is where you're supposed to be. And God gave me that. He told me, I followed, and where was interesting is I'm right back to where I was 12 years ago, in faith, and saying, like, Lord, if this is where you would have us, like, you know, you gotta show up every day, every week, every month, every year. Like, if this is what you would have for us, make it clear, make it plain. And so we are in another, faith walking decision. And it just it is, there are no words. Again, like, I just have no words for how I feel at this present moment. And I think I just needed to be able to share that, right? Like, you guys have been on me on a journey of me telling you I was ready to leave my job, telling you, my struggles of my own self-worth and self-love, and my struggles in, being an entrepreneur, or, turning in my resignation letter, right? Like, these are these are the stories that like bonded us, right? Well, these are the stories that were the beginning of this, right? And one of the things I in the like when I was thinking about, doing recording this episode, it was kind of like, oh, I'm just supposed to do this. And it was just like, no, but this is real too. Because there's lots of people there's some kids that are going from kindergarten, or not kindergarten, which, yeah, like daycare to school for the first time. That's an emotional thing, right? You going to kindergarten to first grade, you going to middle school to, elementary school to a new middle school, you going from middle school to high school, you going from high school to college, you could be going to college into the real world, you could be, you know getting a divorce, getting married, having a baby, transitioning jobs, going to getting a promotion, going to a new office. Like, it's so many different things that are happening in everybody's lives, and transitions don't have to seem like it's not as difficult as they are. I think about the day I left my job, and I felt the same way I felt today, right? I knew that what I was going into was going to blow my mind, but I was also sad about the people I was leaving behind, right? Even though I knew God was like, I got them, and I got you, and we good because you are obedient. You did what you were supposed to do. But it was a hard day. And I think that, even in preparing, I feel the same thing that I was feeling like leading up to my last day at work. And I don't know if I thought that I was going to feel this way about him leaving the school. I think I knew I knew I was gonna feel a certain type of way about him going into high school. But I don't think that I recognized that what I was feeling was um sadness. Some of it was sadness for what we can really walk away from. Um, but I know that they'll be okay, right? And I know that um They did everything. Like each of those teachers have poured into my son over these last 12 years. And I am grateful for that because of their hard work, their diligence, their love and genuine concern for him, that he is the student that he is today. And I'm grateful for that. And at the same time, I know that he's about to go to a place where, Lord willing, the same there'll be different teachers who pour into him and create the man that he is supposed to be. And yeah, that's where we are right now. Like it is what it is. I think what I've given myself permission to is probably cry once a day, just so that I'm not a mess in 2 weeks. Because like I said, even thinking about it, like I'm talking to y'all and I can feel it. Like I want to cry. But I'm not gonna do it right now because it would just take up too much time. Uh but I think that I just have to allow myself to feel whatever it is I'm gonna feel and know that it's not saying it. Because the other part is I think when we talk about crying and feeling the emotions, people tend to, look at crying as like sadness, and it's like, oh, don't cry. And I'm like, yeah, but it's a release, right? Because otherwise I'm just holding that energy in. And I'm keeping it down. But I'm like, if I feel like crying, like I should just cry, right? Like if I feel like eating, I should eat. If I feel like sleeping, I should sleep. Like, why do we? And y'all know that's a different conversation. But um, yeah, today I just wanted to leave y'all with you just knowing that whatever transition you're in right now, whatever phase of your life that you're in, and even if you're in that unknown space, that gap where you're not going forward per se, like immediately forward, but you're walking away from something and you just can't figure out what the next thing is. I will encourage you uh to feel those feelings too. Like this is really just feel whatever you feel. Because again, today, this moment right here, you listening to this podcast, listening to my voice, me recording this on this day, Tuesday, May 24th, 2022 at 5:02 p.m., this moment will not happen again. And so, in order for me to really experience life the way it's intended to be experienced, I need to be present in this moment, right? And so, if in this moment I am proud of my son's accomplishments and I am proud of my accomplishments and I am grateful that God got us here, because this is not how we started. And I know the struggles and the journey that we both had to get here. If in my proudness I want to cry, that's okay. And I'm just going, it'll just happen, because I know that in this moment, like I won't get this moment back. I won't feel this in 3 years. I'll be feeling something else, right? And I can't go back to it and be like, dang, in 2022 I was feeling under that, but that's over, child. We here right now, and 2 years from now your other son is about to transition into high school, and that's going to be a different emotion, right? And so I just, my biggest thing, to you all, just be present with right now, in our area. In the matter of I think like this past week we've had multiple, like really near me, within like the like surrounding 10 miles. We've had like, I want to say 3 or 4 fatal car accidents. And there was one whose family, both parents passed away. And, they had a kid that was entering high school and another one who's exiting high school, about to go to college. And, the outpouring of love that has happened within the DMV, like even for them, that's a transition that is like, there's no way. I can't even fathom it, right? Like my mind cannot even let me go there, because then that makes me sad too, right? But what I recognize though is that is why it's important to experience these moments as they are happening, because in an instant your life can change. for the better or for the worse. It's going to be all to God's glory in the end, but in an instant, your life can change. And so dwelling on tomorrow or what you can't see doesn't matter. Right now is what matters. What you feel in this moment is what matters. And so lean into that feeling, lean into that joy, lean into that sadness, lean into that peace, lean into that grace, lean into that love, lean into that courage, that bravery, whatever it is that you're feeling, lean into it now because that moment will not come back. Like it may come back in a different space, but not here. Like you're here right now. We are here right now. This day, this time will not come back. Time does not work that way. We can't go backwards. All we can do is go forward. So in this moment, do what you need to do for yourself. I'm taking it day by day. Y'all getting this episode, on Tuesday, you know. Y'all getting this episode on Tuesday. That's all I got for you because sis was just all over the place these last couple of days. But yeah, I think I'm gonna be fine by the time graduation comes. I know I'm gonna be a proud mama. That's really what I'm going to be. But I think I have to go through. It is the last 14 years of my life, like what that has really meant. And, there's so many different things that is attached to that I just have to make peace with, be okay with, and celebrate, right? Like just to celebrate it. So yeah, yeah, that's it. So anybody going through any transition, I'm praying for y'all. I'm right there with you, whatever the transition may be. For all of the graduates, congratulations. We are proud of you. We love you. To all the parents who have babies who are graduating, congratulations to you. You made it. And we are proud of you too. We love you. As always, thank y'all for rocking with me. Oh, so next month, guys, next month is June. We are going to be talking about how self-doubt shows up in your finances. I have been procrastinating to talk about this subject for sure. Because my relationship with money be funny. I would just keep it 100. But one of the things that we did last year in June that we will be doing again this year is that we had this conversation on the podcast, and then we will pair it with a live Instagram live where we will be talking to a subject matter expert. So we are going to be talking to Tiffany Burns, a money mindset coach for your personal finances. And we're really going to talk about how self-doubt shows up in how we handle our money, whether it comes to spending, saving, earning, investing, how we handle it, how we feel about it, what we what we do with it, and whether or not we run from it, whether or not we think money flows to us or from us, or do we have a scarcity mindset, an abundance mindset, all those things. So y'all make sure y'all tune in on Sunday. I promise y'all it's going to be Sunday episodes will actually happen. And then on Thursdays, we will be doing the live. And so make sure that you're following me, turn on your notifications, all of that so that you can jump into this conversation. And of course, we'll get more into it so that you all can ask any questions that you have. But it pretty much has the same flow that we did when we did the Obedience is My Responsibility series. We will have, conversations about it. You guys join us and so we can talk about it. And then we will be breaking for the month of July and August. And so usually during those months, I do a rewind. And so sometimes I do a rewind of IG Live series. And so I think that's what I'm going to do. So July will definitely be, I'm almost positive. So I'm almost positive. July will be the episodes, the series that I did in March, the Women's Wellness series. So if you did not catch them live on Instagram or watch the replay, I will be putting the audio on the on the podcast so that you all can listen to it. And then in August, we'll do some random rewinds of stuff. I think I might go back. Also, y'all, I want to hit 200 episodes. Like that's y'all like a big deal. Like sis really, yeah, like I'm telling you, when I hit I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do for that. I don't know. I might do it's a Sunday. I don't know. Y'all child. I don't know. My life be so all over the place. I gotta figure out something, but I'm gonna celebrate. I definitely am. But yeah, so as always, thank y'all for rocking with me. Thank you for being on this journey. Make sure y'all grab, but we just out here trusting God hoodie or t-shirt. Get a journal for you, friend, family member. Oh, remember Father's Day is coming up, so y'all can get hoodies and t-shirts because they're unisex. Okay. If you're interested in working with me directly to talk about work on to get coached in your self-doubt journey, if you're ready to figure out what is keeping you holding you hostage, what is holding you back from pursuing your purpose, and what is keeping you from walking fully in who it is that God created you to be, book a call so we can get to going. Okay. This is like the same thing. Like, you want your summer body, you got to work on it in the winter. No, you want slay self-doubt, you got to work on it all year round. Okay. So come holler at me so we can slay this self-doubt, sis. Okay. Make sure you're subscribed to the newsletter. Make sure you share this podcast with 10 people because we're trying to hit 50,000 downloads this year. Follow me on Instagram at Slaying Self Doubt. Until next week, see ya. All right, y'all, that's all for this week. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to share, subscribe, rate, and review. Remember to head over to Facebook and Instagram and follow me at Slaying Self Doubt. Oh, wait, don't forget, go to my YouTube channel and watch this episode, and remember to press the subscribe button. Until next week, see ya.